Aviation English, Unit 1, Track 1.
Our first hotspot is Taxiway Echo as we approach from Taxiway Charlie en route to runway 22 right. The signage is confusing and a blast fence blocks the view of the end of the runway. Aircraft taxiing to 22 right via Charlie often turn left too soon and end up on Taxiway Echo. This can mean a very long taxi behind 22 right.
Track 2.
A second problem area is Taxiway Zulu crossing runway 1 tree right, tree 1 left. A right turn is required when crossing 1 tree right to Taxiway Zulu on the opposite side. There are 2 taxi lines leading across. If you follow the wrong one, you could end up with a conflict with arrival traffic on runway 1 tree right. In this situation, advise ATC immediately and get off the runway as quickly as possible.
Track 3.
A third area of concern is using Juliet to transition from Alpha to Bravo southeast bound. Aircraft outbound from Kilo and Kilo Kilo may sometimes be issued the instruction, Taxi left Alpha at Juliet transition to Bravo. It's very important not to miss the turn onto Bravo because Juliet leads across runway 22 right.
Track 4. Quebec, Romeo, Zulu, November, Hotel, Juliet, Sierra, Alpha. Track 5.
Mike Charlie 798, say your position.
We're clear of the runway on November by Bravo, Mike Charlie 798.
Mike Charlie 798, thank you. Taxi to the ramp via taxiways November and Tango. Report crossing runway 16.
Roger. November, Tango, and report crossing 16. Mike Charlie 798. Mike Charlie 798 is on November by the runways here. We can't see much because it's so foggy. Are we cleared to cross straight ahead on November?
Mike Charlie 798, cross runway 16. Join taxiway November Tango on the opposite side.
November Tango on the opposite side. We're approaching Kilo here. Oh, there's somebody taking off.
Mike Charlie 798, you shouldn't be near Kilo. Hold your position.
Tower, this is Mike Charlie 798. We are on a runway. I'm currently looking to the right at Kilo. We are on 2 tree right at the intersection of 16. We did not connect on November. We are by Kilo. Kilo is to our right. We're on an active runway. Mike Charlie 798.
Mike Charlie 798, 2 tree right is not an active runway.
I'm sorry, ma'am. We're on 2 tree left at 16, and I am facing Kilo. I'm looking out the window and I can see a sign that says 2 tree left to my right. And there is a sign saying 16 to my left, and a yellow sign saying Kilo to my right, and another sign to my left.
Mike Charlie 798, just go straight ahead. Tell me when you get to the next sign, please.
Okay. We're now on 2 tree left. We are approaching Kilo now.
Mike Charlie 798, roger. Turn right at Kilo and make a slight left turn onto taxiway Charlie. Hold short of runway 2 tree right.
We're on Kilo and we're clear of the runway. We're approaching Charlie on Kilo.
Track 6. 1. Foxtrot Romeo Tree Niner 6. 2. Alpha Quebec 629er. 3. Charlie Zulu Tree 10. 4. Lima November 588. 5. Hotel Yankee 5571. 6. Juliet Mike Fower 22. Unit 2. Track 7.
Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. Auckland Control. November Fower 5, Alpha Charlie. I'm lost. I'm a Cessna 188 Atwagon.
November Fower 5 Alpha Charlie, Auckland Centre, Roger, Mayday.
Tango Echo 10 contacting November Fower 5 Alpha Charlie. November Fower 5 Alpha Charlie, copy. November Fower 5 Alpha Charlie, we are at DC-10 en route from Fiji to New Zealand. We received news of your situation. We are offering assistance. Can you tell me what happened? Tango Echo 103, thanks. Departed Pago at 3 this morning with around 22 hours endurance. I wanted to have enough light to see my fixes, but the ADF stopped working correctly and now unable to calculate my position. November Fower 5 Alpha Charlie. November Fower 5 Alpha Charlie, we are going to try to establish VHF communication with you.
Track 8.
Turn towards the sun and report your heading. Wilco, my heading is 27 Fower degrees. November Fower 5 Alpha Charlie, we are facing the sun. Our heading is 270. The difference is Fower degrees, so you are south of our position. Now hold out your hand. How many fingers do you have between the horizon and the sun? About 2.5 fingers. November Fower 5 Alpha Charlie, we have Fower fingers, so you are southwest of our position. Fly heading tree 15. Heading tree 15. November Fower 5 Alpha Charlie, maintain your position so we can establish your position using the radio signal. We'll maintain our heading until we lose contact. Then we will turn left to re-establish contact and then try to box you in this way. We'll contact you again very soon. November Fower 5 Alpha Charlie, it's getting dark. What time is your sunset? The sun is setting now, and it's 0752 Zulu.
Track 9.
November Fower 5 Alpha Charlie, sunset on Norfolk Island is 0730 Zulu. That means you are 5.6 degrees east and 30 degrees south of Norfolk Island. Maintain your heading. Tango Echo 103. I can see a light. I think it's an oil rig. November Fower 5 Alpha Charlie, your coordinates are 31 degrees south, 170 degrees 21 minutes east. You are 150 miles from Norfolk Island.
Track 10. North. South. East. West. Southeast. Northwest. Southwest. Northeast. 27 Fower degrees. 56 degrees east, 30 degrees south. (170 degrees, 21 minutes east. (1 Fower degrees, 32 minutes, Fower 0 decimal 25 seconds north. Track 11. We received news of your situation. The ADF stopped working correctly. I wanted to have enough light to see my fixes. Track 12. 1. Followed. Arrived. Tried. 2. Established. Approached. Tasked. 3. Contacted. Departed. Calculated. Track 13.
Mayday, 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 Tango Juliet Bravo.
Tango Juliet Bravo. Pass your message.
Mayday, 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 we're lost.
Tango Juliet Bravo. Say last known position.
Last known position was 15 miles southeast of Selra VOR. Tango Juliet Bravo.
Tango Juliet Bravo. Roger. Last known position 15 miles southeast of Selra VOR. Remain straight and level.
I'm straight and level right now. We're in total IMC. I can't see the ground.
Tango Juliet Bravo. Squawk 7700 on your transponder, sir.
Squawking 7700, Tango Juliet Bravo.
Tango Juliet Bravo. I don't have you on my screen. Can you confirm your aircraft type, altitude, and speed?
We're in a beach barren, altitude 3000, speed 110, Tango Juliet Bravo.
Tango Juliet Bravo. Please state fuel on board and persons on board.
I have 780 pounds of fuel and 8 persons on board. Endurance is approximately 1 hour and 30 minutes. I can see the ground now. I can see trees, and I can make out high ground on each side of the aircraft.
Track 14.
Tango Juliet Bravo. Can you fly into a VFR?
Affirm. I can see high ground to the north. I'm flying up a valley with woods to the north and fields below me. There is a road below me.
Tango Juliet Bravo. Confirm that you can see a road.
Affirm I can see a road.
Tango Juliet Bravo. What side of the valley is the road on?
The highway is to my right on the south side of the valley.
Tango Juliet Bravo. Can you make out a river?
Affirm there is a river.
Tango Juliet Bravo. Is the river on the north side of the road?
Affirm the river is... No, the road is crossing the river. The river is now on the south side of the road.
Tango Juliet Bravo. Can you clarify that the road crossed the river and is now on the south side of the road?
Negative. The road is now on the north side of the river. The road is now turning southeast. There's a reservoir below me now.
Tango Juliet Bravo. Can you see a communications mast at 12 o'clock at about 5 miles?
Affirm there is a communications mast at 12 o'clock.
Tango Juliet Bravo. Turn hard left and make a 180-degree turn, heading 265. Expedite.
Making 180-degree left turn, heading 265. Tango Juliet Bravo. I'm coming out of the valley and I can see a built-up area ahead and a lake at 1 o'clock. Tango Juliet Bravo.
Tango Juliet Bravo. There is an airport with a tower 5 miles northwest. Say intentions.
I'd like to land. Can you give me vectors?
Unit 3. Track 15.
Mehmet, can I have a word?
Sure, Jane. How can I help you?
Well, you know the airline is upgrading the fleet.
Yes.
I was wondering what's your opinion on the two options.
They're looking at the Boeing 777 and the Airbus A320, aren't they?
That's right.
Well, both of them are very sophisticated vehicles. They both use fly-by-wire technology.
Sorry, Mehmet. Can you just explain what fly-by-wire means?
In a fly-by-wire aircraft, the pilot maneuvers the aircraft by operating a computer. But in a conventional aircraft, the pilot uses a control column that is physically linked to the control surfaces.
So, if the A320 and 777 are both fly-by-wire, what's the difference?
The 777 has an override function.
I'm not sure what you mean by an override function.
Okay, it's a system that allows the pilot to ignore the built-in limits.
Okay.
On the other hand, the A320 has built-in protection.
What do you mean?
In other words, the Airbus computer doesn't allow pilots to do anything dangerous. There are limits on the Airbus to increase safety.
So, basically, on an Airbus, the computer has ultimate control, and on the Boeing 777, the pilot decides.
That's correct.
Can you give me an example?
For example, computers stop the pilot climbing more than 30 degrees so that the plane doesn't stall. And there are protections to prevent overspeed. That is, it stops the pilot from going faster than is safe.
So that makes it safer, right?
Well, in my opinion, when you fully automate and protect the system, you reduce the pilot's capability. To put it another way, sometimes the aircraft should allow manual control. I mean, you shouldn't limit the pull-up capability, for example, to miss another plane or the ground. At the Habsheim airshow, for example, built-in protection didn't allow the pilot to pull up, and the plane crashed. But sometimes built-in protection can prevent an accident. A Boeing 757 hit a mountain in Colombia because the crew didn't retract the speed brakes as they climbed. The speed brakes on an A320 retract automatically.
It seems that there are good arguments on both sides.
Well, yes, they're both extremely safe.
Track 16. 1. Port. 2. Bat. 3. Tab. 4. Pet. 5. Lap. 6. Beg. 7. Staple. 8. Bit. Track 17.
Rest, Macaire 246. Request descent.
Macaire 246, cleared descent flight level 150.
What, sir? The lights have gone, and we've lost the autopilot and auto thrust. I have manual control. The engines sound okay. The primary flight displays have gone. I can't see the standby horizon, but I can just make out the horizon outside. I've got control of the attitude. Call center and tell them what's happening. Declare an emergency and tell them what's happened. Mayday, mayday, mayday. Macaire 246, we have a system failure. Our lights are not working and our displays are down. I don't think they're receiving us because the radio's lost its power. Okay, let's try to get the system going again. So, if I shine my flashlight on the E-cam, that's better. Try rebooting the system. The instructions are on the lower screen. I've got control and communications. Follow the instructions step by step. Okay. I can only access the instructions one at a time. First, read the instruction, then follow it. Check it before you delete it. Okay, so, instruction number 1 says... Number 8 didn't help. What's the next instruction? So, let's try number 9. Ah, the system's back online. We've got power. Right. First, try to contact ATC so they know our situation. Ask for a holding pattern, then we can try to see what went wrong.
Track 18. 1.
Call center and tell them what's happening.
2.
Try rebooting the system.
3.
First, read the instruction, then follow it. Check it before you delete it.
4,
What's the next instruction?
5,
First, try to contact ATC so they know our situation.
Unit 4, Track 19.
OK, that's the pre-flight checklist finished. Is the cargo needed, Eddie?
Yes, the containers for the next leg are loaded. I think the ground handlers are with the forklift truck unloading the animals now. I'll go and check on progress.
OK. We need to push back in 20 minutes, really, at 1:05. I don't want to miss our slot.
Hey, how's it going down here? Nearly ready?
We've got a problem in the aft hold. A cage door is damaged and one of the lions is breaking out of its cage.
Is everyone okay?
Yes, everybody's safe. We got out quickly and closed the door behind us. What should we do?
I'd rather know what's going on in there before I make any decisions. This is what I'd like you to do. Open the door quickly, assess the situation and close it again.
Well, okay. There he is. He's halfway out.
Look, the cage lock's broken off. And also the thing that holds the door onto the cage is broken.
The hinge. Yes, that's broken too. So we've got a cargo net for catching him, but someone's got to get in and throw it over him.
Look, I don't want anyone to put themselves in danger. I'd prefer to get some help with this. We need a vet.
I agree. Oh no, he's out! Close the door again, quick!
Track 20. 1,
I don't want to miss our slot.
2,
I'd rather know what's going on in there before I make any decisions.
3,
This is what I'd like you to do.
4,
I don't want anyone to put themselves in danger.
5,
I'd prefer to get some help with this.
Track 21. 1, Late. Us late. Make us late. To make us late. Going to make us late. Is going to make us late. This is going to make us late. This is going to make us late. 2, The hold. In the hold. A problem in the hold. Got a problem in the hold. We've got a problem in the hold. We've got a problem in the hold. 3, Do. Should do. We should do. Think we should do. You think we should do. Do you think we should do? What do you think we should do? What do you think we should do? Track 22.
Savannah 27 Heavy, contact departure 121.75. Good day, sir. Contact departure 121.75. Savannah 27 Heavy. Thank you.
After takeoff checklist.
After takeoff checklist complete.
What was that?
What?
That noise.
Oh, the windshield.
Track 23.
That's a multiple strike.
That was 4 birds. Engine number 1 is still running.
Where's the power? We're rolling left.
There's no data on the screen for engine number 1.
We need to get wings level. Increase thrust on number 1.
Increasing thrust.
Okay. Wings level.
The engine's not running properly.
It's hard to remain level. Help me.
Any power on number 1?
I don't know. I can't see any power at all. The displays read nothing. I think we need to shut it down. I intend to shut down number 1.
Okay. Shut down number 1.
Shutting down number 1.
More power on 2 and 3. Increasing power on 2 and 3.
Okay. Can you clean the windshield? Get those wipers on.
Wipers on.
Savannah 27 Heavy. Moi Tower. We see flames and smoke from your left engine. Is everything okay?
No, a bird has gone into the engine. We hit lots of birds at 1,800. We've lost number 1 engine, Savannah 27 Heavy.
Savannah 27 Heavy. Your number 1 engine has ingested birds. Are you declaring an emergency?
Declaring an emergency. We're planning on coming back, Savannah 27 Heavy.
Savannah 27 Heavy. State persons on board.
3 crew members.
Savannah 27 Heavy. State fuel on board.
1,900,000 kilograms.
Holding wings level is difficult.
Track 24.
Savannah 27 Heavy. Say intentions.
What are we going to do? Go around to the left?
Yes, I don't intend to land with this much fuel on board. Turn left, dump fuel, and get back down.
We're going to make a left orbit of the airfield, Savannah 27 Heavy.
Savannah 27 Heavy. Can you make right turns?
Negative, sir. Right turns will be very hard. I'd prefer to turn left.
Savannah 27 Heavy. Understand you are unable to make right turns. Turn left at your discretion.
Okay. We need to dump fuel as soon as possible.
We plan to dump fuel to landing weight, Savannah 27 Heavy.
Unit 5. Track 25.
Welcome back to Radio Action. I'm here with champion air race pilot Tiago Silva Corbera. Now, Tiago, can you tell us a little about aerobatic maneuvers?
The 2 basic maneuvers are the loop, which is where you fly a vertical circle. You can fly an inside loop, where you pitch up into a circle, or an outside loop, where you pitch down into a circle. And there's the roll, either a half roll, where the wings turn 180 degrees to inverted flight so that you fly upside down, or a full roll, where you rotate 360 degrees.
And what about the more complex maneuvers?
The barrel roll is where you complete 1 loop and 1 roll at the same time, making a flight path similar to a horizontal corkscrew, like when you open a bottle of wine. A more complex maneuver is the Cuban 8, which again is a combination of loops and rolls. This maneuver makes a shape like a number 8. My favorite maneuver is the tail slide. That's a straight vertical climb up until you lose momentum. You then fall backwards, tail first, until the nose drops through the horizon to a vertical down position. And then you drop back into level flight. Moves like this are fun, but the most important thing in an air race competition is completing the course as fast as you can.
What aeroplane are you flying today?
I'm flying an Extra 300S.
And how is this different from normal aircraft?
Well, they are quite different in that they are much lighter than normal aircraft, and they have more power for their weight. This aircraft only weighs 672 kilograms, but it has a 300 horsepower engine. Another key difference is that the control surfaces, the ailerons, rudder, and elevators deflect at least 25 degrees, which is much more deflection than conventional aircraft. This is so you can make the hard maneuvers at high speed.
Do you ever get scared?
The scariest moment I've ever had was doing a maneuver called the hammerhead. You start by flying vertically, but then slow down and apply full rudder and full opposite aileron. You then yaw 180 degrees to a nose-down attitude. But this time the aileron didn't release properly, and I almost went into a spin and crashed. Luckily, I got control, and when I landed, I checked the control systems and found a leak in the hydraulic lines.
And how are you feeling about the air race today?
I've done a lot of training, and I'm feeling positive.
Well, good luck, and thanks for talking to us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Track 26. Feet. Meters. Square feet. Kilometers. Feet per minute. Degrees per second. Knots. G's. Nautical miles. Square meters. Pounds. Kilos or kilograms. Horsepower. Meters per minute. Track 27.
The extra 300S has a length of 22.6 feet, or 6.9 metres, a height of 8.5 feet, or 2.6 metres, and an unladen weight of 1,480 pounds, or 672 kilograms. The combined wing area is 98 square feet, or 9.1 square metres. The extra 300S has a G rating of plus or minus 10 Gs and has a Lycoming 6-cylinder power plant which produces 300 horsepower, giving a VNE speed of 220 knots. Its stall speed is 60 knots. The aircraft can climb at a rate of 3,200 feet, or 975 metres per minute, and roll at a rate of 400 degrees per second. Its range is approximately 944 kilometres, or 510 nautical miles.
Track 28. 1. 6.51. 2. 651. 3. 6,501. Track 29.
Approach. Executive 56. We're having trouble controlling the attitude. It's difficult to establish level flight. Declaring an emergency. Executive 56.
Executive 56, roger your emergency. State intentions.
We'd, like to come back to your airport, but we're still trying to fight the pitch and bank. We've got low hydraulic pressure, and we've got very little deflection on the elevator or ailerons. Executive 56.
Executive 56, just tell me what you need and I'll get it for you.
It's very difficult to pull or turn on the column. We're using asymmetrical thrust. We're using the engines to turn. We can only make big turns. Executive 56.
Executive 56, roger. Big turns only. Maneuver at your discretion.
We're going to go out west and then make a straight-in approach if that's possible. We're fighting to keep it straight and level. We will need a very long final. I don't think we have spoilers, reverse thrust, or brakes, so we'd like the longest runway possible. Executive 56.
Track 30.
Executive 56, okay. A visual on runway 07. Would you like emergency assistance at the far end of the runway?
Affirm. Executive 56.
Executive 56, the services have been activated.
Do you want me to line you up with the end of the runway right now?
Yes, please, but we're really struggling to follow a heading. Please keep giving us vectors to the field, Executive 56.
Executive 56, roger. Turn left, heading 050 degrees.
050. We're adopting landing configuration now to slow us down, Executive 56.
Roger, Executive 56.
We have flaps and landing gear is down and control is easier now. We have the field in sight.
Executive 56, roger. You are cleared to land runway 07. Wind 170 with 26 knots.
Track 31.
Approach. We're down safely, but we overran the runway, Executive 56.
Executive 56, glad you're all okay. Is there anything else you need?
We'll need help getting back to the apron, Executive 56.
Executive 56, roger. You're off the end of the runway. We'll get a tow truck to take you back.
Track 32. 1.
We're having trouble controlling the attitude.
2.
It's difficult to establish level flight.
3.
Just tell me what you need and I'll get it for you.
4.
We're fighting to keep it straight and level.
5.
Would you like emergency assistance at the far end of the runway?
6.
Do you want me to line you up with the end of the runway right now?
7.
We're really struggling to follow a heading.
8.
Is there anything else you need?
Unit 6. Track 33.
So, what does everyone think about this? Is it possible to separate your personal life from your work life? Yes, Antonio?
I don't think it is. For example, I heard recently about a senior captain who had just signed on for a 3-day pattern of flying after spending 3 days off duty at home. After takeoff, he heard gear up called, but he retracted the flaps by mistake. Anyway, they found out afterwards that he was worried about money and that his baby son had kept him awake, and so he was exhausted and unfocused at work.
Well, that illustrates how personal worries can affect performance. Things like a relationship breakdown or financial difficulties can cause stress, which can impact work. So, what can people do to help them cope with stress?
Try and identify the sources of stress. Some experts suggest keeping a diary to record what events affect your energy and time. For some people, there might be something specific that triggers anger or anxiety, or they might just feel overworked.
So, how can you avoid getting really run down?
You should try to take holidays from work regularly. Organize your schedule around them and take regular breaks while you're working too.
When you're starting to feel a bit down, I think it can help to talk to a friend about your problems and feelings.
But if the cause of stress is outside of your control, you may want to get professional help on how to deal with it. Some companies provide counseling for employees.
For me, the best way of dealing with stress is to make sure you exercise, eat and sleep well. And if you can't sleep, well, then I suggest you see your doctor.
Oh, another good idea is to try and make more time for those things you enjoy. Take regular opportunities to relax. I would advise a stressed friend or colleague to try some stress-reducing techniques, such as meditation or a massage.
That's great. I think you've come up with some really good ways of coping with stress. Now,
Track 34. Stress. Pressure. Spending. Flaps. Flight. Breakdown. Specific. Plans. Track 35. 1. We're still struggling to get a slot. 2. The brake light is blinking. 3. Is the runway dry enough to drive on? 4. The flaps are frozen and need freeing. 5. I'll wipe the grease off the glass. 6. I've tried to fix the trouble twice. 7. There's a threat of strikes throughout the country. Track 36.
Cairo Center, this is Divestream 290.
Divestream 290 Cairo Center. Pass your message.
We have a medical situation on board. We are contacting Medlink now. Divestream 290.
Roger, you have a medical problem on board. Keep us advised. Cairo Center.
Medlink, I'm Dr. Slowinski. Which flight are you calling from, please?
This is Divestream Flight 290, and this is Mustaf, the first officer.
Thanks, Mustaf. How can I help you?
We have a passenger, a young man from Belgium. He's having difficulty breathing. He's shaking badly, and his eyes are shut.
How old is the man?
He's in his late 20s.
Is he able to communicate?
No, I don't think he can hear anyone. He's crying in pain.
Okay, you should move the other passengers away from the patient, if possible.
Luckily, his seat is to the rear of the aircraft, so we've already moved the other passengers away.
Good. Have you removed his seatbelt?
Yes, we have. We've laid him down on the floor.
That's good. Where has he been?
From his passport, it looks like he has been on holiday in Egypt for 10 days.
Have you found any other information about him?
No, we haven't found anything else yet. We're looking through his belongings.
Has he eaten or drunk anything?
No, the crew haven't begun to serve drinks yet.
I see you are traveling to Paris Charles de Gaulle. How long have you been airborne?
We've been in the air for about 15 minutes.
So you're still climbing. Are you climbing rapidly?
Yes, we are. ATC asked for a steep climb out of Cairo due to traffic.
Mustaf, he has just started coughing blood and we think he is losing consciousness.
Oh dear.
I've just looked in his hand luggage. I found a hotel receipt, a wallet, and a scuba diving logbook. It looks like he dived this morning.
Did I just hear that the patient dived this morning?
Yes.
Okay, this sounds like it is a case of decompression sickness, which is a critical condition. You should stop climbing and descend right away if you can. Every foot you climb could seriously affect the patient's health. You should divert and find an alternate airport that has medical services. Try asking ATC to help you find an alternate that is close to a decompression chamber. There should be a diving decompression chamber somewhere on the Red Sea.
Roger, leveling off and initiating descent.
Track 37. 1.
We've already moved the other passengers away.
2.
Have you removed his seatbelt?
3.
We haven't found anything else yet.
4.
Has he eaten or drunk anything?
5.
I've just looked in his hand luggage.
Track 38.
He's having difficulty breathing. He's shaking badly and his eyes are shut.
Track 39. 1. Nausea, dizziness, losing consciousness and sweating. 2. She's trembling, coughing and crying. 3. Lie the passenger down, put him in recovery position and call Medlink. Aviation English. Unit 7. Track 1.
Most passengers know what they can and can't bring into an airport. It's obvious that you mustn't bring anything explosive on board, although some people still try, even when they know it's illegal. The owner of the black powder knew he wasn't allowed to transport it without declaring it as dangerous goods. You have to declare dangerous goods or you are breaking the law. Less than 1% of cargo incidents reported involve dangerous goods which have been correctly declared. It's difficult to understand, for example, how someone let chemical solutions and corrosive solids on board without question just because they were labelled as laundry products. Maybe better dangerous goods training is required.
Track 2.
All jumpers, we have a 1 square kilometer fire 82 kilometers southwest. Get suited, get your full kit. Line up for inspection. We have a 4-3 departure.
It's a hot summer's day in the far east of Russia, and I'm on my way to a wildfire. I'm here with the Aerial Fire Service, who fight the many fires that burn through the forests of northern Asia. Andrei Yakmenkov is a smoke jumper. Andrei, could you describe your work to us?
I jump to the ground to bring the fires under control. It's dangerous work. You have to be fit, both mentally and physically. And you have to keep a cool head and make fast decisions.
The Fire Service looks after hundreds of square kilometers from the Arctic to the borders of Mongolia. When the office receives a report of smoke, they scramble an airborne firefighting team. At least 4 smoke jumpers are dropped to cut away the vegetation to contain the fire, and air tanker pilots tackle the blaze by spraying the area with water or fire-retardant liquid. I have here Operations Manager Alex Letov. Alex, would you tell us how fires are caused?
Sometimes the fires are started by people. For example, this spring, an industrial gas tank exploded, causing a serious wildfire. But our typical fires are ignited by lightning storms, and because the forest gets very dry over the summer, the trees catch fire easily and fires can spread over a large area quickly. But September and October is definitely our busiest time of year, before the winter rain and snow arrives. We have to respond early to the fire when it's much more manageable, much easier to put out.
Tatiana Dubrova flies an Antonov 2 for the fire service.
When that siren goes, that's when the job really begins. I have to try to get a low altitude and airspeed for the jumpers and all the time think of the terrain, the trees, the wind. I sometimes have to make 2 or 3 traffic circuits to make a safe drop.
The jumpers are getting ready to drop into the forest. Andrei, can you talk about your work on the ground?
We have to make absolutely sure the fire has gone out. Extinguishing it completely can take days. The most difficult part is finding a road so you can get out of the forest again. Okay, here we go!
Jumpers, don't talk! Get ready! Drop zone! Jump! Go! 1, 2! Jumpers away!
Track 3. 1.
Get your full kit.
2.
Line up for inspection.
3.
Could you describe your work to us?
4.
Would you tell us how fires are caused?
5.
Can you talk about your work on the ground?
6.
Jumpers, don't talk! Get ready! Drop zone!
Track 4.
Siberian 3 Alpha, Kunming Center. Maintain flight level 380, Mach 0.85.
Maintain flight level 380, Mach 0.85, Siberian Tree Alpha.
Track 5.
What was that? This isn't right.
What's happened?
3 circuit breakers have tripped. They're showing a problem.
Where's the problem?
In one of the washrooms. Maybe the fan overheated.
I'll ask the cabin crew manager to look into it.
I'll try and reset the circuit breakers.
Okay?
Yes, hi. I'm getting reports of an unpleasant smell back here, coming from the rear washrooms, like an electrical burning smell. Some of the passengers are getting a little uncomfortable with it.
Could you move the passengers away?
Sure, will do.
Go have a look.
I'll check it out now.
Why didn't it set off the smoke detector? I'm not happy with this at all. Something's wrong.
There was smouldering in the washroom. I don't know if any wiring has come loose. I sprayed it with the extinguisher. I think it's gone out.
What do you think caused it?
I don't know. Maybe the vacuum outlet overloaded. I couldn't see where it was coming from. I'll go back now and double check.
Yeah, go. We need to know the source of the fire.
I'll take my goggles just in case.
Yeah, we'll put our masks on. Go back, but don't get yourself incapacitated.
Track 6.
I can't get back there.
Why not?
The smoke's too heavy.
Are the passengers okay?
People are starting to have trouble breathing.
We have to go down.
Initiating an emergency descent.
Track 7. 1. Right. 2. Flight. 3. Frame. 4. Long. 5. Load. 6. Arrive. Unit 8. Track 8.
The weather here is very changeable. Winters can be overcast with drizzle, but summers can be clear and warm. As a result of the warm Atlantic winds, the temperature remains quite high. It rarely snows and is never very icy. Aircraft usually depart on the southwest heading due to prevailing southwesterly winds. The airport operator has just resurfaced the runway, and because of this, sometimes there can be standing water, and it can be slippery. Pilots using the airport at Bristol should be careful of this.
The weather here is quite predictable from season to season, as we are in the middle of the continent. In winter there is cold weather and snow, and the wind is northerly from the Arctic. But the problems come in the summer months, when different pressure zones can cause very hot, sticky and humid conditions one moment, and then severe thunderstorms the next. This leads to quite long delays, as aircraft have to enter holding patterns and wait to be vectored into land. Approaches to the airfield can be quite rough, particularly for smaller aircraft.
Winter is quite mild this far south. The problems come for us in early summer. In the summer rainy season, the monsoon results in heavy rain and high humidity at Kerala Aerodrome, with strong southwesterly winds. It can therefore be difficult to predict the heavy rains, and flooding can happen at any time. It's quite common for parts of the airfield to flood, and we have to close the airport for days when the rain is heavy. As a consequence, pilots need to be careful just before the monsoon.
Track 9. 1.
As a result of the warm Atlantic winds, the temperature remains quite high.
2.
Aircraft usually depart on the southwest heading due to prevailing southwesterly winds.
3.
The airport operator has just resurfaced the runway, and because of this, sometimes there can be standing water.
4.
This leads to quite long delays, as aircraft have to enter holding patterns.
5.
It can therefore be difficult to predict the heavy rains, and flooding can happen at any time.
6.
As a consequence, pilots need to be careful just before the monsoon.
Track 10. OK, everyone, we've got a severe weather front coming at us on tonight's shift. We have a big storm coming in from the north with strong westerly winds and gales, hail and heavy snow. All of the control positions are going to be affected.
Sorry, sir, I didn't catch the word before control positions. Did you say all of the control positions? Is it that bad?
I'm afraid so. It's going to be a busy evening, especially for those working the approach position. Lots of aircraft will want to land or divert before the snow starts.
Excuse me, I couldn't hear that last bit.
We've got some heavy snow approaching and we'll have to get incoming aircraft down quickly or help them to divert. I hope it's going to get easier as the traffic volume decreases during the night. For Tower, the night and morning shifts are going to be easier.
Sorry, sir. What did you say after morning shift?
It's going to be easier because traffic is not going to move at the airport until tomorrow afternoon. The upper airspace is going to be very quiet over the next 12 hours as many flights are grounded.
I'm sorry, sir. What was the first part of the sentence?
To repeat, the upper airspace is going to be quiet during the next 12 hours because many flights will be grounded. For eastbound aircraft, it's not going to be easy flying into Bristol today, so we'll have to work hard to get this traffic coordinated. Now, any more questions? No? Then good luck, everyone. Track 11. 1.
I didn't catch the word before control positions.
2.
I couldn't hear that last bit.
3.
What did you say after morning shift?
4.
What was the first part of the sentence?
Track 12.
Shenton Tower, Echo Sierra 2 Tree. We're ready for departure, but we can see lightning out to the right. Can we, wait here until the weather passes? Echo Sierra 2 Tree.
Echo Sierra 2 Tree, affirm. Hold short of runway. Stand by.
Holding short of runway, Echo Sierra 2 Tree.
Quick Air 6 Tree 8. Tower and departing aircraft observe increasing rain and lightning southwest of the field. Amend your altitude. Maintain 2000.
Maintaining 2000. Quick Air 638. That's the edge of the storm to the left of the airport. Can we get a report on the weather? I'd appreciate a PIREP from the company traffic in front of us. Quick Air 638.
Quick Air 638. Roger. Stand by. Quick Air 638. Company 737 just exited the runway, sir. He said smooth ride.
Say again? Quick Air 638.
Quick Air 638. Company 737 said smooth ride.
Roger, smooth landing conditions. Thank you. Quick Air 638.
Track 13.
Quick Air 638. Cleared to land runway 27 right. Surface wind 270 degrees at 19 knots. Visibility 700 feet and decreasing.
Roger, cleared runway 27 right, wind 270 degrees at 19 knots. Visibility 700 feet and decreasing, Quick Air 638.
Quick Air 638, wind now 250 degrees at 21 knots.
250 degrees at 21 knots, Quick Air 638.
Quick Air 638, that's wind 250 at 23 knots.
250 degrees at 23 knots. Quick Air 638.
Track 14.
Attention all aircraft. Runway 27 arrival. Microburst alert. Be on the alert for wind shear. Tree 5 knots, loss 1 mile final. Quick Air 638. Threshold wind now 250 degrees at 2 four knots. Watch out for any microburst activity. Be careful on short final.
Roger, wind speed now 2 4 knots. Looking out for microburst activity. Thank you. Quick Air 638. That's minus 10 knots. Watch out, we're losing speed.
Wind shear, wind shear, wind shear.
Okay, we're minus 20 knots. This wind shear is going to prevent us from landing. Let's take it round to the right.
Wind shear recovery profile, maximum power, nose up, flaps and gear as they are.
Maximum power, nose up, positive climb.
Track 15. Short. Visual. Watch. Roger. Track 16. Approach. Edge. Measure. Switch. Threshold. Emergency. Usual. Shear. Unit 9. Track 17.
We were asked to pick up a VIP from a field by a large house and take him to a Royal Navy ship for the day. There were clear blue skies when we left, and we landed by the house, shut down, and got out, ready to meet Prince Charles. After briefing him on the aircraft and safety, we strapped him in and started up. Once we were airborne, we called up the ship, which was only about 5 miles away. We went over the top of the cliffs, ready to let down, and suddenly all we could see was thick white fog. The best way to get onto a ship when the weather is not too good is to get the ship's radar to guide you in. So we went into the fog. It was about 600 feet above sea level. 3/4 of a mile from the ship, at around 275 feet, the ship suddenly radioed and said, "We've lost you on radar. Continue visually." Well, it's difficult to continue visually through fog, so I decided that we would go around the ship. While we waited for them to clear us to come back round, I spoke to the Prince, who has flown in the Navy, and I explained what the options were. One option was to let down early to get down below the fog to about 100 feet, which is low enough to be a bit risky. I felt a bit worried because the situation was not routine, but anyhow, that's the option we took. When we reached about 150 feet, I could just make out the outline of the ship about half a mile away, so I let down a little bit more, came out from under the fog, and I landed safely. The Prince got out, thanked me very much for some very good flying, and went off for his day on board the ship.
Track 18. Aircraft. Asked. Safety. Options. Explained. Thick white fog. The ship's radar. Some very good flying. Track 19. Reverse thrust. Available slots. Thick smoke. Climb vertically. Dump fuel. Damaged struts. Track 20.
Pan, 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 pan. I'm having problems with my landing gear. Mac Air 319er.
Mac Air 319er. Roger distress call. What is the problem with your gear?
I can't see a green light for my nose gear. We felt and heard it extend, but there's no light. Request low pass for visual inspection. Mac Air 319er.
Mac Air 319er. Cleared low pass runway 09er. Surface wind 010 at 10 knots. Not below 500 feet. QFE 1006. Report final.
Cleared low pass runway 09er, surface wind 190 at 10 knots, not below 500 feet, QFE 1006. Mach Air 319er.
Mach Air 319er, the nose gear appears down, but...
Track 21.
I'm sorry, the nose wheel is in position, is that correct? Mach Air 319er.
Mach Air 319er, negative, that's incorrect. The nose wheel appears down, but it's at a 90-degree angle.
I understand the nose gear is down, but stuck at 90 degrees. Mach Air 319er.
Mach Air 319er, affirm, that's right. On runway heading, climb to altitude 2,000 feet.
Flight level 20, runway heading. Can we circle the aerodrome? Mach Air 319er.
Mach Air 319er, cleared to circle the aerodrome.
Track 22.
Alpha 30, airborne.
Alpha 30, it appears your main gear hasn't retracted.
Roger, my main gear has retracted. Thank you, sir. Alpha 30.
Alpha 30, negative. You haven't understood. Your main gear is not retracted. It is still visible.
Okay, our main gear is stuck. Okay. Alpha 30.
Alpha 30, say intentions.
We're trying to figure out the problem. Stand by, sir. Alpha 30.
Alpha 30, standing by.
Track 23.
Sierra 62, you are 7 miles out on long final. How is your landing gear?
We've tried winding down the gear manually, but it's stuck about halfway out. Sierra 62.
Sierra 62, state intentions.
We don't have much fuel. We're going to land this time. Sierra 62.
Sierra 62, use runway tree foul right. There is smooth ground on each side of the runway, and you have a lot of space. Crash, fire, and rescue services have been activated.
Runway tree foul right. I have the field in sight, sir. Sierra 62.
Track 24.
Tower, this is Fast Air 350 on 3 mile final. The apron is to the right of runway tree foul right. Do you mean tree foul left for the belly landing for traffic behind me?
Fast Air 350, affirm, thank you. Brake, Sierra 62, use tree foul left. I say again, runway tree foul left.
Runway tree foul left. We've wound the gear back up so we will have a smooth belly landing. Sierra 62.
Sierra 62, roger. Smooth belly landing.
Unit 10. Track 25.
If a Boeing 767 runs out of fuel, what do you have? A 132-ton glider. And that's exactly what happened to Air Canada Flight 143, which was en route from Ottawa to Edmonton, cruising at 41,000 feet, when the first warning light came on. Captain Bob Pearson recalls,
"We thought we had a failed fuel pump in the left wing and switched it off. Our FMC showed more than enough fuel remaining for the duration of the flight. We had no indication of a fuel shortage."
But when a second fuel pressure warning light came on, Pearson decided to divert to Winnipeg. They began descending, but the fuel flow stopped completely and they lost both engines due to fuel starvation. The $40 million Boeing 767 became a glider, and the pilots were left with only a radio, basic instruments, and limited control. The crew soon realized they couldn't make it to Winnipeg. They chose a disused Air Force base at Gimli, not knowing that it was being used for a family car racing day. John Haskins was on the ground.
It just came out of nowhere, almost silently. You could just hear this whoosh sound, and you looked around and there it was. It was coming in at this really strange angle, and we thought it's going to crash. But then it landed. It was incredible.
Helen Clitheroe was one of the event organizers.
I only saw it when I heard the bang of the tires bursting and the nose smashing down on the runway and all those sparks. When it stopped, we just picked up some extinguishers and tried to fight the fire and help all the passengers off.
The only injuries were to passengers using emergency slides. The question of how a passenger jet with a fuel capacity of over 90,000 liters runs out of fuel remains for investigators.
Track 26.
Initial reports indicate problems with the fuel system. It seems that the cockpit fuel gauges were inoperative. In this situation, after the fuel hoses are removed, the fuel load is checked by hand, like when you check the oil in your car. The fuel measurement was then converted from volume to weight. The problem was that the calculation was done in pounds, but the new Boeing 767 is a metric machine. And so the system thought the data was in kilograms, not in pounds. The aircraft had just half the required fuel for the journey, and the crew had no idea.
Track 27.
Polar 69er, Roger. Reports turning final, runway 29er. Wind 320 at 10 knots.
Report turning final, runway 29er. Wind 320 at 10 knots. Polar 69er.
Number 1 doesn't sound good. We're not running short of fuel, are we? We should have plenty of fuel.
We've got fuel, but fuel flow should be much higher. Torque pressure is meant to be at 100, not 40.
That's engine number 1 gone. Feather the engine?
It's feathered.
Tell them we've got one engine shut down.
Pan, Bodo Tower, Polar 69er. We've lost one engine. We're turning final at this time.
I smell smoke. We're losing the other one. Contact Tower and tell them to get the fire trucks out.
Tower, Polar 69er, request fire crash rescue services.
Polar 69er, Roger. I'll activate fire crash rescue. Say your fuel and persons on board.
Polar 69er, Roger. We've got 2 crew and 120 passengers. I don't know about fuel. We've got a fuel problem.
Can we get the other engine going? We're not going to make it. We'll have to land on the river.
Tower, we've lost both engines. We are on final here to the river. Polar 69er. You want the gear up?
Yeah, put it up. We don't want it to catch on the ice. We've got smoke. Shut down number 2.
Pull both extinguishers.
Fire bottles. Tower, this is Polar 69er. We're down on the ice. Nobody's hurt. We had a fuel flow problem and we lost power on the engines and couldn't get to the runway. We're on fire over here though.
Track 28. 1. Shot. 2. Cot. 3. Seat. 4. Hit. 5. Leave. 6. Stat. 7. Chat. 8. Mark. Unit 11. Track 29.
OK, everyone, let's begin the workshop by looking at the causes of decompression. Now, have any of you here ever had any decompression-related incidents?
Well, last year a flight of ours was delayed by 4 hours due to a cracked windshield. It was a tiny crack, very difficult to see, but the captain refused to fly until maintenance replaced the windshield.
OK, it sounds like you guys did the right thing. Now, Let's think about other possible causes of decompression. Any ideas?
Bird strike?
Yes.
Failing to lock a door.
OK.
Metal fatigue?
Good. Here I've got photographs of some real incidents. Can you pass the photographs around, please? First, here's a DC-10 in June 1972 whose rear cargo door blew out due to a faulty lock. Rapid depressurization occurred when the door tore away a spoiler and smashed into the tailplane. OK, this one shows a famous incident of explosive decompression, this time with a Boeing 737 in April 1988. The aircraft had corrosion and also serious metal fatigue. Almost 35 square metres of metal tore away from the upper part of the fuselage, cutting off the electrics, all communication lines and oxygen supply. You can see here that the lower part of the airframe buckled and the nose dropped down by 1 metre. Unfortunately, one life was lost when a member of the cabin crew was sucked from the aircraft on decompression. Luckily, the nose gear locked down on landing.
Track 30.
In the picture you see here, a bird strike caused serious damage to a Boeing 767 in 2001 at flight level 120. A flock of birds dented the aircraft nose, fuselage and wing leading edges and punctured the aircraft skin 11 times. One of the birds broke through into the cockpit and smashed the captain's instrument panel. Incidents like these can be fatal, but here the captain wasn't injured and the crew managed to land safely. Fortunately, explosive decompressions like these examples are very rare, but cabin crew and flight crew must be aware of the dangers. These incidents show that rapid decompression is very different to the controlled environment of a cabin simulator.
Track 31. Now. Take. Scenarios. Real. Series. Photographs. Here. Rear. Cargo. Out. Flight. 0. Away. Tailplane. Depressurization. Aircraft. Safely. Only. Minor. Track 32.
Mayday, mayday, mayday. Center, kite 6-3, making an emergency descent.
Calling station, say again? Say again?
This is kite 6-3. I say again, kite 6-3, making an emergency descent.
Kite 6-3, clear to flight level 100.
Center 6-3.
Kite 6-3. You're breaking up. Say again?
We had a rapid decompression. We are just west of the Payam VOR, passing flight level 2-0. Kite 6-3.
Kite 6-3. Understand you are depressurized. You are cleared to flight level 100. I say again, descend to flight level 100. Report reaching.
Flight level 100. Kite 6-3. Center, this is kite 6-3, level at 10,000. Request immediate landing.
Kite 6-3. I can't hear you, sir. Loud background noise.
Center, this is kite 6-3, level at 10,000. Request immediate landing.
Kite 6-3, read U5, squawk 7700.
7700.
Kite 6-3, I understand you have lost cabin pressure. You are forward 0 miles from the field. At your 11 o'clock, turn left heading 070 degrees, altimeter 1002. Say intentions.
The captain is unconscious. Request immediate landing and medical services. Kite 63.
Kite 63, roger. Straight in approach and landing runway 07. Wind 160 at 11 knots.
Straight in approach and landing runway 07. Wind 160 at 11.
Kite 63, do you have any aircraft damage?
Stand by.
Kite 63, standing by.
You okay?
Yes, it's difficult to hear you.
Have we got any damage back there?
I can't see unless I get out of my seat. Yes. The leading edges are badly dented, and the engine inlet cowls. I couldn't see any further back. Are we going to be okay?
Yes, we'll be fine. Is anyone injured?
Yes, 2 were injured when they fell from their seats in the turbulence. What happened?
Hailstorm.
How long is it going to take to land?
It'll take about 15 minutes.
50 minutes might be too long.
Not 50 minutes, 15 minutes.
Oh, okay. 1 passenger is bleeding badly. We've got to get help soon, otherwise he might not make it.
Sorry, say again?
If we don't get to a doctor soon, he may not survive.
We'll get him to a doctor as soon as we can. We'll have an ambulance waiting for us.
Okay, thanks.
Center, Kite 63. We had a hailstorm that lasted about 10 seconds. The left side of the windshield has smashed. The right side is cracked. We have damage to our wings and maybe the tail, but the aircraft feels okay. We've got at least 2 serious injuries. Kite 63.
Track 33. 1. He's talking about outbound flights, not inbound. 2. Good. It was excellent. 3. You said the flight would leave at 7:30, not 9:30. 4. No, my first flight this week is Tuesday evening, not Tuesday afternoon. 5. Fly faster, not slower. Track 34. 1.
I can't see unless I get out of my seat.
2.
We've got to get help soon, otherwise he might not make it.
3.
If we don't get to a doctor soon, he may not survive.
Unit 12. Track 35.
On the subject of airport security, security expert Kalle Kaub is here to talk us through recent developments in airport security techniques. Kalle, why a new technique?
The strategy for airport security has been almost completely technological. We have technologies such as baggage screening equipment and explosive detection systems, but technology alone is not enough. We need to look for malicious intentions, and these have to be identified using other techniques.
What are these techniques?
We are using behavioral profiling, or screening, which basically means that we look at passenger behavior. When someone is about to commit a crime or a terrorist act, the stress affects their behavior, and this stress behavior is extremely difficult to hide or control.
So what behavior are you looking for?
We are looking for any physical signs that could show that someone is nervous or angry, signs that they might be planning a criminal act. These include avoiding eye contact and small movements of the lips, eyebrows, and nose. Common body signs that indicate aggressive behavior include the head moving forward, stepping forward on the left leg, and a hand position with the palms down. Rises in the volume and pitch of the voice may also show that someone is agitated. If people show just one sign of stress, they are probably not a threat. But if you observe multiple signs, then you can assume that they must have something to hide.
And how do you use these techniques?
We have a team of officers monitoring the airport terminal area. If they detect behavior that indicates a person may be a threat to security or the safety of a flight, they attempt to engage in casual conversation with that person. They try to make friendly eye contact and ask simple questions to see if they react normally.
Surely friendly conversations can't be enough to indicate if a passenger is a criminal.
Of course, these questions can't determine if a passenger has criminal intentions, but they might indicate suspicious behavior. The important thing is that if an officer feels unhappy, they can send the passenger to secondary screening, including a body search, a physical inspection of carry-on baggage, or even police questioning.
Do these techniques work?
Using behavior detection, we have arrested people on charges of drug possession and immigration violations, and we've also seen a reduction in alcohol-related incidents in airport terminals and at the gates. The good thing is that training is simple. The technique requires no additional specialized equipment, and it presents yet one more layer in the security system.
Track 36. Detection, possession, suspicion. Track 37. Aviation, reaction, conversation, immigration, inspection, intentions, reduction, violations. Track 38.
What's going on? It sounds like someone trying to get in. Can you look on the video?
Okay. I can see him. The flight attendants are struggling to restrain a passenger. Oh, he's hit one of the attendants.
Okay, notify center.
Center, we might have a problem here. Stand by. Into flight 547.
Into flight 547, standing by.
It looks like they forced him to the ground and got the cuffs on him.
We've a problem back here with a violent passenger. We've restrained him, but he's still struggling.
Is he drunk?
I don't think so, but he's very agitated and abusive. He said we were in danger and he had to fly the plane. It must be a mental health problem.
Is anyone hurt?
No, we're okay. What do you want us to do with him?
Secure him, away from the other passengers if you can. Get someone to stay with him until we land.
Right. Contact ATC and tell them that we got an unruly passenger. Request a diversion to nearest suitable airfield. Have medical and security there to meet us.
Center, Interflight 547. A passenger has attempted to enter the flight deck. He's also attacked the cabin crew. There are injuries. We have restrained him, but we need to get him off the plane as soon as possible.
Interflight 547, understand you have an unlawful interference. Please say fuel and persons on board.
178 persons and 4 hours of fuel remaining. Can we descend to the nearest available aerodrome? We'll need medical and security services ready. Interflight 547.
Interflight 547, you are approaching Korean airspace. Contact Incheon Control on 123.6. I'll advise them of your situation and pass on your request.
Hello, this is Tokyo Area Control Center here. We have a problem, B7 57200, Interflight 547, Gulf 585, westbound towards Sapra at flight level 340, squawking 1243. We expect it in your airspace at approximately 47.
Okay, it's 757 squawking 1243. What's the problem?
We had a report from the flight crew. They said a passenger had attempted to enter the flight deck. The first officer said that crew had restrained him but believed he was still a threat.
Roger. Are there any injured persons?
The crew told me there were injuries, but they didn't give details.
Did they
They asked if they could descend to the nearest aerodrome, and they said they'd need medical and security services ready.
Thank you. Leave it with us.
Aviation English by Henry Emery and Andy Roberts. Published by Macmillan Education, a division of Macmillan Publishers Limited. Copyright Macmillan Publishers Limited, 2008.